Check one. Check one. We's about to start soon. Starting soon. That's right. Oh, what's wrong there? Hello, my child. How you doing there, Lord and Savior? I'm doing well. We sound like the same person. We are all one. Oh, I see what you did there. Very clever. Very clever. Hi, everybody. Well, here we are. It is the first, I got a little shade spot. You throwing shade. They throwing shade. This is the very first broadcast where we're all together in one place. That's right. My Facebook is on here. My YouTube is on here. My Twitch is on here. My Twitter is on here. Everybody, welcome to the Laugh Anyway segment on Twitch. The Elias Israel, Elias Tyndall page on Facebook. Elias, all the stuff. I'm Elias Israel Tyndall. Elias Israel Tyndall. Some people call me Elijah. You can call me anything you want. You don't have to call me darling. You never even call me by my name. Some of you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's okay. That's just an old country song, an old hymnal. So, how you doing out there? I thought I'd pop on here and we'd talk for a minute. I thought we'd start digging in to the second book I wrote. It's called The New You versus the Screw You. It deals with 5 different mindsets. Mindsets of limitation, things that hold you back. The way that we think is everything, guys and girls, and whatever you identify as. The way that you think is everything. Everything. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so when you think, it goes into your heart, then your mouth speaks it. And the more your mouth speaks it, the more faith, because faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so then you hear yourself say something, and then it feeds it again. It goes into the thinking, goes into the heart, and goes out of the mouth. I'm telling you, it's a cycle. And once we start thinking in a certain way about ourselves, about others, about circumstances, about different things, once we start thinking certain ways, then we start living out those thoughts. We start living out the manifestation of those thoughts. I'm not getting kooky spiritual on you. I'm just being honest with you. This is how it goes. It is a principle that works every time. Just like the law of gravity. You don't have to believe in it for it to work. But friend, you're not going to go outside and just start flying in the air just because you don't believe in gravity. Gravity is going to work whether you like it or not. You can jump off a building and gravity is going to work, unfortunately, in that case, and it's not going to be good for you. So spiritual principles, laws like this, just life principles, this is a principle that works every time. And so if we can change the way that we think, if we can adjust the way that we think, if we can start adapting the way that we think to be a better pattern of thinking, then we can start bettering our life. Now, some people are handed cards in life where it has nothing to do with your thoughts. You're born into a bad situation, and your thought process is not going to change that situation, but it will change you in that situation. And so that's what we got to look for. Not what's being done to me, but what's being done for me. How in the world is this horrible circumstance? How can I use this for me to become a better person, a bigger person, my capacity to expand, and my potential to be just a better, bigger, stronger person on this earth? Because here's the deal. You may not want to be, a role model and all this stuff on earth, that may not be your goal. That's okay. But here's what I'm saying to you is that you're stuck with you for the rest of your life. And so if you're going to be stuck with you, you might as well be stuck with the best version of you. And the best version of you is one that's at peace, The best version of you is not someone who's always complaining about everything wrong and bad that happens to you in your life and why you're always the victim. Yes, you may be a victim to circumstances, but you can be a victor in those circumstances. And so that's only going to happen if we adjust the way that we think. Our mindsets, the way that our mind is set. That's what that word mindset means. The way that my mind is set. We all have different mindsets, and they're based off of different thoughts we've embraced, we've been exposed to over time. Vision comes through exposure. You can't have a vision for something until you're exposed to that thing. And so we embrace a vision for something as we're exposed to that. No one really, you talk to people who are like, man, they love to go and do missions work. They love to go overseas and help you. That's on the inside of them, but that's only because they were exposed to it at certain points in their life. At some certain point in their life, they were exposed to this thing, and then they had a vision for it. And so all of us have mindsets, the way that we think about different things. That's my dog barking it back there, Luna. Lagatha's her real name, her formal name. So if you see us at a formal party, you'll know to call her Lagatha. If you see us just out on the street, you can call her Luna. It's very informal. But all of us have embraced mindsets, and they program the way that we think. Luna, you heard her bark right now. The reason she's barking is because someone is either coming in or going out the door. That's her mindset. Her mind is set that when she hears that front door, it means that she should alert somebody. It means that she should woof, she should bark, so that way we're alerted, and it will potentially scare whoever is coming in the door that's not supposed to be coming in the door. That's her mindset. Her mind was set that way based off of a certain thing that happened in her life, or a certain training that happened in her life, or the instincts that she has that's given to her by God. But her mind is set on that. Our minds are set on things we were exposed to. And so that's why when it comes to things like relationships, sometimes someone can say like, oh no, I'm not getting in any more relationships because those things are horrible. And your perspective on relationships is horrible because you were exposed to a bad relationship. Some of you don't want to get married in your future because you were exposed to a mindset. You were exposed to a reality that you saw in marriage, possibly in parents, possibly in siblings, possibly in just people you know, friends. And it was just like, oh, I would not want anything like that. Some of you, that's the reason you don't want kids, is because you saw other kids that were just miserable looking. I mean, they were just raunchy kids acting bad, and I understand it. No one wants bad kids. No one wants misbehaved kids, but that can't dictate our mindset, the way that we think all the time, just because we were exposed to it once. We have to adjust and allow our mindset to grow beyond what we were just exposed to through a certain. We have to expose ourselves. Let me finish the sentence, sickos. Expose ourselves to new things so that way we can have a vision for more. Expose yourself beyond where you are. Say yes to more experiences. Say yes to more trips. Say yes to more people that are not like you as friends. Say yes to relationships like that. Why? Because it exposes us and it grows our capacity. We don't have to change into that. Never change who you are, but we can add to who we are, and it makes us a fuller version of who we really are. Does that make sense? And so our mindsets are everything. So man thinks in his heart, so is he. Right? From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And then when the mouth speaks, faith comes by hearing what the mouth is saying. Then you're convincing yourself. So we need to change what we think. Just start working on new thoughts, working on new thoughts, working on new thoughts. As we change the way that we think, and how we do, we just check ourselves. We just interrupt ourselves. Man, just interrupt ourselves. Words are great for interrupting your thoughts. They are. I'm telling you. Choose to program yourself to, every time you're having a negative thought, every time you're having a thought that leads you off course, maybe it's inappropriate thoughts, like for some people, maybe it's hateful thoughts for some people, maybe it's racist thoughts for some people, maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but thoughts that you don't like in your life, and you know that this is not the right way, this is not the, I don't want to be like this. Interrupt. program yourself to say, every time I start thinking like this, not later on, but right then, right when I start thinking like this, I'm going to speak out something different. I'm going to just speak out something maybe of gratitude. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm thankful if I start having a thought because I don't like a certain person and I hear a certain person, see them online. First of all, I don't have to. I mean, listen, the world is big. If just seeing someone's name online bothers me so much, how about I just don't follow that person? You know what I'm saying? Like that's fine. We can have our own separate corners. There's 8 billion people on this earth. We can live without crossing paths for the most part. But instead of me saying, oh, you know, I don't like this person because of this and this and this and this, all that may be true. But remember, I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. That means even if the worst thing happened to me from that person, that means I don't have to live the rest of my life dictated by that experience. I can choose to be a victor over that experience, and I don't have to stay there. And so I now will speak something different, and I'll say, oh man, I'm thankful that that person, you know what? I'm thankful that that person has my forgiveness. I just forgive them. I just forgive them. They didn't know the extent of it. As a matter of fact, when they were doing something wrong to me, it was probably more about them than it was me. They probably weren't thinking about me very much. They were thinking about either their insecurities or either their lust, their temptations, their desires, their this, their that, like that. They were feeding something to themselves usually when they wronged me. And so I don't have to think this was all about me all the time. So you know what? I forgive them. I let them go. Letting them go, forgiving them is more about the freedom I get from it than the freedom they get from it. Yes, they will experience freedom from that, but chances are they'll never even know. But I can live free of that. And so now I start programming myself to say, oh, I'm thankful that I forgave them. I'm thankful that they're free of that. They don't owe me a thing, and I can live in peace. And then it starts reprogramming, reprogram. And then when you randomly see their name on something or hear their name mentioned, you don't have to sit there in resentment. You can sit there and just know, hey, man, I put work in this area, and I ain't got to, I'm glad. I'm free of that. I'm free of that. So I encourage you with that. So a mindset, start challenging the mindset, readjust the mindset, bring in positive. If we were sitting in a garage with a big diesel truck and the garage was closed and we were just sitting there, chances are we would wise up pretty quickly and say, you know what, I'm not going to sit in this closed garage with this diesel truck running because these fumes, they're toxic and they're going in to me and they're going to kill me eventually. Yet we will stay in environments where we feed this just toxic nature all around us. We just set up camp and live in toxicity. Yeah, that's it. We live among toxic things and will not remove ourselves from that. We would never do it with our physical bodies, yet we do it with our spirits and our souls. We do that with our mindsets. We do that with our mentality. We do that with our emotions, but we'd never do it with our physical body because we would know the damage it causes. It causes equally as much damage. It is slowly killing you if you don't remove yourself from toxic situations and toxic environments. Just remove yourself. Just say, I'm not going to stay here. Life's too short to stay in this toxic place of bitterness, of unforgiveness, of being a victim to everything and thinking everybody owes me everything. No. No one owes me anything. This life's going to be good because I'm putting work in on myself. And yes, people have done wrong. Yes, people have wronged me. Yes, all that stuff exists. It does. It exists. But I don't have to be defined by it. No, I didn't plan on it, but detours don't change destinations. And so I can live free. I can live free from that. And so I can choose to get to my destiny just fine without having to be a victim to everything, every circumstance, everything, all that stuff. And so with the new you versus the screw you, there's a new version of us. That's the one that operates with a new mindset. And then there's the screw you version, the one that screws everything up. There's an old guy, old philosopher. He wasn't old at one point. He's old now. He's thousands of years old. But he said one time, he said the very wise thing. He said it was a letter to a certain people group, and he said don't be conformed to this world. That means you just you don't have to be like the rest of this world. Even good parts of this world, people in this world, even good parts, you don't have to be like everybody else, because you're not supposed to be like everybody else. You're supposed to be you. You're uniquely you in this earth. You got your own fingerprints. You got your own eye. You got everything. You got the way you think. You know, if you've lived with siblings or even your family, you can be around people that are even related to you, but have your own mindset on stuff and have your own thinking. He's saying don't be conformed to what everybody else is and who everybody else is. Because even if they're great people and you spend your life trying to be like them, then at the end of your life, if you successfully done that, you spent your whole life and successfully become exactly like them, the problem is there was already a them. And now there's a big empty hole in the puzzle that God placed together on this earth. There's a hole where your part was supposed to be. You never became you, because you were conforming to them. Even if they're good people, you were conforming to them. So he says this: don't be conformed to the rest of this world, but be transformed, be changed. Transform is change, by the renewing of your mind, so you can prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God in your life. God's perfect plan played out among us. It's only going to come through the way that we change. So that's the new us, this one that thinks differently, this version of us that thinks with these new thoughts. But this same guy, only chapters earlier, said this: why is it that the thing that I want to do is the thing that I don't do, but the thing that I don't want to do is the thing that I practice? Like, I don't just do it, but I make a practice of it. I know I don't want to do this, but I continue to do this. And I say I'm not going to do this anymore, but I continue to do this. That's the screw you. That's the version that screws everything up. Screws everything up. The new you versus the screw you. So I'm going to start talking here on a daily basis, an in-depth talk, so we can dig in about how to become more of the new you versus the screw you. Because all of us highly identify with the screw you, the one that screws everything up. But it's this new version of us, the one that we know is in there. All of us, we know. We've had glimpses of that character. We know he's in there. She's in there. We know. But we don't walk it out like we should. So what we're going to do is we're going to start studying, an in-depth study and conversation. If you have comments, you have questions, pop on here. Let me see your questions. Let me see your comments. Let me see your thoughts. And we can talk live about this. Hey, Daddy. Oh, no, I've got another child. Dang it. We're going on Maury. Your mama boy just came on and said, hey, Daddy, what up? Touch your elbows together. I won't. I can't. So those are my thoughts. You guys have a great day. And sweet. Woody Patters just is now following. I appreciate you. Lick your own forehead. I can do that, but I won't for the sake of I got a dirty forehead. Thanks for following, man. Thanks for following. I say man. I don't know. I call everyone man. I hope that's not offensive to you guys. It could be, but if it is, then yeah, you're probably gonna get offended at me because I say man a lot. But I'll say, hey, person. That doesn't have the same punch to it. Speaking of punch, I'm working on the emotes. I'm working on the graphics right now. Do a backflip. Oh, I wish I could do a backflip. I can do a front flip on a trampoline. I always have. But when it comes to the backflip, I've always, I don't know. I fear it. Tell you a poop joke. I don't have a poop joke, but I have a story that almost related to poop. I was sitting in class in 11th grade, and I had big baggy MC Hammer pants on, which were real flimsy material, real thin rayon material that are tapered on the bottom. My point is they kind of isolate in the air. And I was sitting there, and I started to have to sneeze. And I did that international I'm about to sneeze face. It goes like this. We all do it. I don't care who you are. We all do it like this. When we're about to, we go like this. Like that. Like it's like we're trying to bite an invisible apple that's right up here, and I was doing that like that, and then I added the international I'm about to sneeze noise. Once again, we all do it like that. I did a couple of those, and then and I started to sneeze. I sneezed so hard that I projected out so much air projected out the front. And as air projected out the front, half of the air pressure that built up from all those went back down to look for an exit, and at the same time I was like that. I don't know which one was louder, but I felt my chair. Remember, 11th grade, new student at a school, no one knows me yet. My chair is vibrating. My MC Hammer pants is locked in the air, and they're inflated like that. And I'm having to like just release them a little bit, and the foul air is coming out of there. And I was afraid that was going to turn into a poop story, but it didn't. It just turned into a semi poop story. You know what I'm saying? Like a winded poop story. And so sometimes you got to let things out. Sometimes, and then I was embarrassed. Here's the point. I always like to make a point of things. Sometimes you're embarrassed for things that are ridiculous for being embarrassed about. Why? Because everyone has experienced that same thing. The sneeze fart, everyone's experienced it. But I was about to shut down because I thought I came up with that, and I thought everyone that was going to be my reputation from there on out. But you know what? I lived through it. And now I'm encouragement to those who fart and sneeze, or sneeze and fart. I'm an encouragement to those people. You can get through. You can do it. This is not the end, my friends. Okay, so I will pop on here a little later, and we'll go over the first mindset limitation. Remember, if you hadn't watched this from the beginning, go back and watch it if you can. New you versus the screw you. And then we'll start to deal with mindsets. Rock on. Thanks for following me once again. I appreciate it. Everyone, if you're not on Twitch, jump over to my Twitch page, which I'm on live right now, and get on there and follow me and all that stuff like that. I appreciate you. I really do. It's a new thing. It's my third day on here, and I'm having a blast.